guys, today I'm filming my June favorites and product updates for 2018. I have quite a few items to give you guys my thoughts on today. So we will start with the favorites, and I actually don't have a ton of favorites this month. 4 cheek products and 1 eye product. So we will start with the 1 eye product, and I think I wore this in last month's favorites video and monthly makeup basket, I believe. This is the ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in Kathleen Light, and this is a pearlized finish, which is my favorite because it has a really metallic sheen with no pieces of glitter in it. This is a really beautiful golden copper color. I believe Kathleen created this to be similar to MAC Amber Light, and I think that was the first time I'd actually worn this, even though I absolutely love this shade. I thought it really popped on the lid, and because it does have more of that gold or a yellow to it, it stands out much more than a copper like I'm wearing today. It was so beautiful, and I really enjoyed working with this formula. I'm always thinking about products that I will pan, and I can see myself maybe trying to pan this next year because I really love that color. So then we have my 4 cheek products, and 2 of those were a bronzer and a contour, and those would be the Milani Matte Baked Bronzers in Sunset, the lighter shade which I use to bronze, and Sienna, the darker shade that I use to contour. And these are amazing. I'm very upset that Milani made these limited edition. They could definitely stand to have some matte bronzers in their permanent collection, and even though these are both very warm, I don't find them to be too orange tone. And people say you always need a contour with something cool tone. This is warm. I'm using it to contour today, and I love it. I think these look amazing, and maybe it's because they aren't very orange or because I have a more yellow undertone, but I think these look amazing, and the formula is super buttery, really easy to blend. I really look forward to wearing them every single summer, and I have been able to find these on eBay, and I will have those linked down below. I really did enjoy all 3 of my MAC blushes this month, but this is the one that I used the most, and this is MAC Sweet Fantasy from the Mariah Carey collection. It is a beautiful coral blush that is bright but also slightly muted at the same time. It has a lot of pink to it, which I really love, and this is a beautiful satin finish. This looks amazing with any warm tone makeup look, and it is one of my holy grail blushes, and the packaging is very pretty as well. So my last favorite is also a product update. It is something I tested out in my 7 first impressions, and I ended up absolutely loving it. That would be the Anastasia and Amrezy highlighter, which is a beautiful white gold. And in my first impression video, I wasn't as in love with it because I was having a hard time picking it up on a brush. And I wish I had brought my brush out here, but basically what I do is just kind of run it back and forth instead of just going in one direction. Going in 2 directions really helps it to pick up more product. Because this is more of a baked gelée type formula, I have a harder time working with those, but that helped me pick up a lot of product. I'm wearing it on the top of my cheeks today. This is so stunning. I wish this was a permanent item, but I know a lot of you guys are able to get it. I'm really happy I was able to get it as well. It's a stunning shade, and it is very hard for me to find any gold highlighter that will actually work because most of them are way too deep, and they're beautiful and reflective when you have them in the sunlight, but when they're in the shade, it just looks like a strip of a really dark color on my skin tone. So I really didn't have that high of hopes this would work for me, but it absolutely does. So I don't need any other gold highlighter in my collection except for this one, and it works well on medium and tan and deeper skin tones. It's just going to be a little bit more intense, but I really love this highlight even more than I expected to. So now we have my product updates. I have 3 random things, and then I have all the items from my 7 first impressions. So the first thing I have here is the NYX Flawless Finish Sponge. I had mentioned this in a video previously, and I was using this with a cushion bronzer. So I decided that I wanted to try this with a foundation. It was so terrible. This sponge is really dense, and it just felt like I was punching myself in the face. It soaked up product. It just moved around. My makeup looked disgusting after I used this sponge, and I was using a trusty foundation so that I could test this more to see if this sponge really sucks, and I think it really does suck. So I bought this off of Emily Noel's recommendation. I don't recommend this at all. The Real Technique sponge is so much better. So I had kind of written this off. I thought I was going to trash it, and then my friend Jean texted me saying that she had started using a sponge to apply her skincare, which obviously is not necessary, but I thought, oh wow, I actually want to try it with the NYX sponge. And that's what I've been doing, and it works really well. I use this pointed side to apply my eye cream, and then the more rounded bottom to apply serum, moisturizer, and all that. No, it's not necessary, but it's it's given me a way to actually use this instead of putting it in the trash. So I would not recommend buying a sponge for that purpose, but if there's a sponge you don't like for foundation or concealer, maybe give it a try for your skincare. So that's why I'm using it, but still bitter because I don't like that. My next product update would be a nail polish. This is Celestial Writing the Yuletide. I had mentioned this in my monthly makeup basket and told you I would review it today. This is something I received as a gift from my friend Amanda Alexander. It is the first time I had ever even heard of this brand, and it is the only polish that I have from them, so I wanted to see what I thought of their formula. So Writing the Yuletide is this beautiful blue that has some green in it, and it has a lot of really tiny dark blue glitter particles in here. And usually I only like glitter polishes if they're fully opaque. If they have glitter little pieces mixed throughout, I don't like that, because usually you'll have a sheer base and then some random glitter particles, and I do not like the way that looks on my nails. So what I love about this one is that it is an opaque base. This was opaque in 2 coats, and when you look up close you can see the little glitter pieces. You cannot feel them. It doesn't feel textured. I do have a top coat on this though. I definitely like that you can see the opaque base and you can also see the glitter. Now if this had a couple holographic glitters in here or some green glitters, it might be a little bit more dynamic, because right now from far away it probably just looks like a metallic blue polish. I am impressed with this formula. It lasted a really long time on my nails. I really like this color, and I would definitely be interested in checking out some more from the brand. If you've tried any from this brand, let me know in the comments. So I do like this polish, but it isn't a holy grail favorite of mine. The next item I will be discussing is the Tarte Amazonian Clay Full Coverage Foundation. I just recently posted a first impression and follow-up using this. I will have that linked up above. I filmed it at least a week and a half before I posted it, and my shade is in Fair Sand. This is actually a very perfect skin tone match for me. It is very fair and very yellow, and this is a full coverage, more matte foundation. And in that video I ended up liking it, but I've used it more since then and I don't like it as much. So even though this is supposed to be a matte foundation, I get very shiny throughout the day. I have other foundations that keep me more matte, so that was a bit annoying about this. And also it looked really textured on my forehead, and because this is this really moussey consistency, it's just a little odd to blend out. When I used a brush, it did create a little bit of streaks that I tried to blend out with a sponge. When I just tried to apply it with a sponge, it just was difficult for me because this is a moussey consistency. Now it wasn't incredibly thick, but I didn't like the way it felt applying it with a sponge, but it gave it a better finish than with a brush. And I don't think this is a bad foundation. I got it for $25, which is a great price. So I've decided that I'll be returning this foundation. And it's not because it's bad, it's because it's not amazing. I have like 8 foundations in my collection right now, which is way too many. And there's no reason to hold on to this one if it's not amazing, and for me it's not. It's just fine, and I don't need a fine foundation. So now we have all the items from my 7 first impressions, which I will have linked up here in the cards. So the first thing I had tested in that video is the Ordinary High Adherence Silicone Primer. Also, when I retested the Tarte foundation, I didn't use a matte primer, I just used this primer, and it still looked really dry and textured on my forehead, which I didn't like. But this is a really nice primer. When I hear silicone, I think of the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer, which I don't like because it's really slippery and kind of oily, and this is not. It is a little bit thicker, but it feels very creamy on the skin. I really enjoy this very great basic primer to help your foundation go on a little bit more smoothly. I don't really think it makes my foundation last longer. It doesn't mattify me, give me a dewy effect, or smooth my pores, and I don't think this is something I would necessarily repurchase, but I am enjoying this, and I know this will be a great primer for me to use with my first impression and follow-up videos. So I like this way more than I thought I would, but as I said, I don't think it's incredible. It's not a must-have and I won't repurchase. The next product I had tested was a little foil sample of the Hourglass Immaculate Foundation, and the shade of the sample I had was definitely too dark for me, which is a bummer, so that already makes it a little bit difficult to tell my real thoughts of a foundation if it doesn't match my skin closely. But my thoughts stay the same on that one. It was a bummer I was only able to use it once, but from what I experienced that one time, it's not something I would repurchase. So if you guys saw in the video, I applied it on one side, it was okay. I applied it on the other side and it was crazy orange, which makes no sense why I would do that on one side of my face and not the other. But you guys saw it was really crazy. Also, this dried down so quickly. You had to be really fast with blending it out. Also, it made my concealer look really patchy on top because it wouldn't blend into my foundation. It set way too quickly. So I feel like I would have to do one half of my face with foundation, one half with concealer, blend in really quickly, then do the other half, which is really ridiculous and I wouldn't do. It did not have full coverage like I was expecting it to. And the only good thing about it is that, yes, it was pretty mattifying, but with all of those other factors, it seems like it would be really difficult to work with. I know Hourglass is super expensive, so maybe in the future I would like to get a sample from Sephora in my actual shade match to try it again. But for now, I was really underwhelmed with that foundation and it was not a good experience. My next item was the Lottie London Blush Crush in the shade Justin. This was a warm tone pink blush. It had a matte finish. This was a fine blush. It wasn't bad. The formula was good. The color was pretty, but I had other very similar blushes in my collection that I reached for more. I do like warm pinks, but I actually prefer pinky coral. So something a little bit more warm and coral instead of pink I prefer. So I knew I was going to reach for a blush like this over a blush like that. So I did end up decluttering that to a friend who actually has really enjoyed it, which is great. I do think it's a good product. If you don't have a ton of blushes or you're looking for a good drugstore blush, I would definitely check it out. And the next I know I had tested was the Amrezy highlighter, which I already reviewed for you guys. Then I had tested the Tarte Chrome Paint Shadow Pot in the shade Park Avenue Princess, which is this beautiful golden bronze color. You guys saw how amazing this was on the lid. These apply best with a natural hair brush as well as your finger. That's how you get the most intensity and the least amount of fallout. I really love this. I think it is so beautiful for a pop on the lid. I want this entire line, but these are incredibly expensive, so I would only get these if I can get them on sale. The next product was the Pixi and Weylie palette. I decluttered that to the same friend I gave the blush to, and that's because I just didn't love the quality of this palette. The shimmer shades were pretty, the matte shades were pretty as well, but they didn't perform very nicely. So as you guys saw in the first impression, I used the matte warm tone shades to go along with the Tarte Chrome Pot, and they took a lot of building. They were just kind of sheer, which I didn't enjoy, and I have so many similar colors in my collection that perform better that there was no need to hold on to that, and I wouldn't really recommend it. I think there are other inexpensive eyeshadows that work just as well, especially because Pixi is a little bit more of an expensive drugstore brand. I would recommend getting something like the ColourPop Yes Please palette over that one, or any of the ColourPop palettes, to be honest. So for me, that was a bit of a miss. And the last item I had tested in that video was the IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. And also I filmed that video a couple weeks before I posted it as well. So it's been about 6 weeks since I've tested these products. So this is what the brush looks like. It is a natural bristle brush. This does have a dry formula. This is really great to thicken the lashes, give them a little bit of length. I do enjoy this, but it's almost out. And not that I've used up all the product, but it is almost completely dried out. I used this as a base mascara today and then used a more wet mascara on top of it. And I felt like this really wasn't doing anything for my lashes anymore. So I don't know if the same things happen with the full sizes or not, and maybe it was just my particular tube. I've had a sample for a little while. I don't know. I really do like the effect of this mascara, but for me, it just dries out way too quickly. And in general, I do prefer a more wet mascara. So I do have a couple more samples of this that I will be excited to use, but this is not something that I see myself purchasing in the future. So those are all of my beauty favorites and product updates. Now I have 3 random favorites. I have 3 songs, and I will have all the music videos linked in the description box if they are available. One Kiss by Dua Lipa and Calvin Harris. I mentioned a Dua Lipa song last month. I love Dua Lipa so much. She is such a cool girl and I love her voice. And last month I told you guys Friends song, and I thought it was by Selena Gomez. It's definitely not. It's Marshmello and Anna Marie, something of that nature. I linked the music video in that video, and it makes so much more sense why I like it now, because Selena Gomez did not sing it, but the video is really cute. And I still have been loving that song and the Dua Lipa song I mentioned last month. The other songs I like are Alone by Halsey and I Miss You by Clean Bandit. And my last favorite was a YouTube video called If I Could Change Just One Thing. It was a collaboration between Lacey from Spooky Lips and Fat Hips and Angelica Nyqvist. And basically they had chosen some palettes where they thought they would be so much better if they changed just one thing. If they changed a formula, a color, the layout of the palette, something about it, if you could change just one little thing, it would be so much better. And I thought that was a really cool idea, and seeing what they would change, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, that would be so much better if that change could actually happen. And it also sort of reminded me of recently I posted a repurchase, reformulate, or trash tag. I'll have that linked up here. And for the reformulate portion, it was really fun to think of whether I would like the packaging to be changed, or some of the shades, or the finishes, or the layout. So I was thinking that might be something that I would like to do on my channel, go through my palette and then the other kind of makeup that I have, seeing if I could change just one thing and then it would be perfect. So I'm gonna have a little poll question up here. Let me know if that would be something you would like to see from me as well, because I was really inspired by their video and I thought it would be so much fun. So guys, that was my June favorites and product updates for 2018. I would love to know your thoughts if you've tested any of these products, and I would love to know your favorites in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.